Guys, it's me, Redrick here, the mom strategist, wrapping up um, my gym workout now. I had a good one today. Today was leg day. I am feeling fired up, and Sue worked me like crazy. Today's scope topic, you guys are going to love it. Hey, Melly, you're going to love this topic today. Today's topic are the 4 types of people never to trust. This is my gym scope, and as many of you guys know, I come to you usually twice a day. In the morning with something that's insightful to move you forward, and then usually in the evenings I'll come back and do a teaching scope of some sort. Hey, Shara, good to see you. Today I'm going to do a quick scope, but it's going to be a powerful scope on the 4 types of people never to trust. All right. And this is all based on my, just living almost 50 years and my perspective of knowing what good looks like for me. And hopefully some of what I'm going to say to you will support you with maybe whatever it is that you're dealing with, or whoever it is that you're dealing with, maybe in your workplace, in your life, in your business, and in your neighborhood, whatever it looks like. So I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with both life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. Stay connected to me there. I am a business coach. I have supported hundreds of clients personally, and thousands have used my programs literally all around the world. I love supporting my clients with understanding, first and foremost, that they are product, that you can take what you know how to do and package that into a product that you can sell. And I work with people who, they're smart, they're sharp, they believe in self-investment, they believe in God, and they're action takers, thought leaders, they're go-givers, go-getters. Those are my favorite clients, and I love what I get to do every single day. And, for those of you who I haven't met before, it's nice to virtually meet you. I got started in my business. I simply made the decision to go to work as myself 13 years ago. I wanted to use my skills as a corporate trainer and my systems in motherhood, turn that into a business. I've done exactly that and built coaching programs based on what I knew how to do really well. I've supported over 113 authors personally. More than 80% of my clients are #1 Amazon bestsellers, which I really love. Most of them take their content, their products, most of my clients, whether they're authors or not, and they turn it into some type of program that they monetize, usually as a coach or a consultant or digital courses or learning management portals, things like that, so that they can serve people with what they know how to do. All right, and I've supported them in showing them exactly how to do that. 8-9 years ago, my husband developed kidney disease, and so, that was tough. My kids were 10 and 7 and 4 years old at the time. And I was grateful that I had built a business leveraging what I knew how to do, right? Standing on my own gifts and talents with one-to-many models, because I could be there for my husband when he needed me most. I didn't build my business like a job. It wasn't a hustle and grind. I don't have to travel to make money or anything like that. And I was grateful for that model. I was grateful that I had built a business that truly had freedom, because I could be there for him. I could be there for my kids when they needed me most. And, we were able to hire a private physician for my husband, a doctor that only had 25 other patients, so he could get an elevated level of care. And you can do that if you're dealing with any extenuating situation out there, maybe someone that is not doing well. If your business is doing well, you can afford to provide, an elevated level of care for your spouse, right? Or to me, like growing an amazing business has meant that we've been able to give our kids literally our #1 investment, a world-class education. We all know that, educating your kids is important, it's a priority, and we've given our kids that. We've invested over $715,000 in elementary, middle, and high school. And there's no other investment to me that we've ever made. And we've invested in a lot of things, and we believe in investing but that's our #1 investment. You know what I mean? So maybe you're a mom out there, and that's what you're looking for. Like, you want to build a business so that you can invest in your kids' education too. As a family, we've had the great privilege to be able to travel the world together, and that's been awesome. But all of those things take time and money, right? Right, yeah. But all of those things take time and they take money, right, to do. And I love being able to date my husband in the middle of the day. And to me, being able to, go in the office if I choose to, usually it's about 11, 11:30 every day. And and start my workday. I love that. I love the flexibility of that. And if any of that excites you, what I'm sharing with you, I work about 31 hours a month, then you're going to love what I scope about and how I teach and coach my clients to stand on their gifts. Now, what I'm interested in is sustainable success. I will tell you that, and I'm not interested in any flash cash strategies or quick tricks to make money. At the end of the day, when you get free, I want you to stay free, right? I'm totally into that. My kids have never seen their mom or dad ever work a job. I consider that a tremendous gift, and they are 19 now, 15, and 12 years old. We've always been successful entrepreneurs, and as a result of that, we've been able to see whatever we want to see with our kids. And I don't say any of that to brag. I say it because that's important. And and if you get free, I want you to stay free. I hope you guys are ready. Today's topic is simply the 4 types of people never to trust. The 4 types of people never to trust. If you haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Periscope, please do. The 4 types of people never to trust. Now, all of this is based on my own experience over the years of, living, and what I've learned over the years as a result of interacting with so many different types of people. And I'm sure some of this you might even know yourself and you've experienced yourself, but maybe some of it you've never thought of it this way. And my goal is to support you in making that shift that you need to, all right? So the first type of person that I say never to trust is, number 1, a person that believes that their best days are behind them. So meaning they don't have anything to look forward to. They feel that the best things that have ever happened to them were in the past. So it might be someone that maybe can only think about, they can only think about their, maybe when their kids were younger, or maybe when life had certain elements in it that no longer exist. And they feel like, my life will never be as good as it was, like at this period of time. And they can't get past that. And as I say this might resonate with some of you guys. This might come forward as truth. You might start thinking about, people that you're relating to, and whenever you talk to them, they talk about things that are in the past. They don't talk about things that are happening today, or things that are in the future. That's how you can usually tell if you're dealing with someone like this. And I would say, hey, don't trust people like that, because when people don't have things to look forward to, often it compromises their values and how they value other people and what they believe is valuable, all right? So I want you to think about it for a minute. Like, imagine if you are, let's say, imagine that you are, you felt that the best days of your life was when your kids were younger, right? Like, your kids were younger and you don't want them to, get older, and they are now, and they're adults, and you feel like the best days of your life were that time. People like that tend to really struggle with, one, being happy for other people that are moving forward around them. They struggle with, having any level of gratitude and appreciation for the goodness that surrounds them. They often can be very negative, or even they can even have, their language could be very much like, always disappointed, because the way that they keep score about life isn't really realistic. They're not even dealing with the current circumstances, because their only view is what happened behind them. And maybe some of you guys can relate to this. Maybe you've seen this situation, someone that you've talked to, and you're like, wow, if we're talking, this is like 2017. Like, why are you talking about something that happened, in 1999? Like, really, okay? And you continue to do that over and over again. And so when you meet people like that, very difficult people to trust. Typically, they're not going to be able to be happy for you or your successes or your growth, anything that you're reaching for, if it represents anything different than when they believe life was really great. Equally, if it's like a mom or a dad that's struggling with that kind of thing, they have difficulty being able to appreciate the growth in their own children, and because they want things to stay the same. I've seen this a lot in terms of working with some moms who are, stuck, or maybe they're helicopter moms, and they just don't want their kids to go on, and they don't want things to grow. They don't want people to not need them in the same way, and as a result of that, they struggle. You know what I mean? So it's very difficult to trust people like that, right? Hey there, darling, good to see you. All right. So if you guys haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, on Periscope, please do. I'm talking today about the 4 types of people never to trust. And the first person, never to trust, hey there, darling, is never trust a person who believes that their best days were behind them. Their best memories, were behind them, all right? Because they're not going to be happy for you. They're not going to be supportive of your growth because the way that they see things is based on the past, all right? Number 2, all right? Never trust a person that doesn't understand what true abundance is. Now, this is a little challenging, right? So, don't trust people who don't know what abundance is. All right. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, there are people who are more scarcity minded, and there are people who are more abundant minded. And people are people, but we all think either we think things are scarce, people, money, opportunity, jobs, success, clients, all right, or people who are, they're abundant minded or they're scarcity minded. And I'll tell you why, right? Because when you're dealing with people who are abundant minded, one of the things you will find is the elements of dealing with people like that. I love being around people like that. I am one of those people. That they tend to see people as they can be. They tend to share. They know that there's lots, for whatever it is that they have, they know that there's lots, and they know that they see possibility in people. But people who are scarcity minded, all right, or who believe that there's very little, good morning, who believe that there's very little, tend to not divulge, discourage you from abundance, like things that are abundance, right? It's really important. It's hard to, it's easy to miss also. But one of the things I've learned over the years is that when you have friends, when you have friendships, when you have coaches, you have teachers, you have trainers, you have neighbors, you have coworkers and colleagues that are abundant minded, you'll find that, the things that have elevated their world, they will share with you freely, all right, openly, right? Because they want you to have those things because they believe that there is more. But when you're dealing with people who are scarcity minded, there is a contraction typically in their language and in their shareability, their vulnerability around sharing, all right? Because to be able to share is a vulnerable act. I want you guys to hear me on this, right? Went a little deep with that. But to be able to share something, you have to be vulnerable, okay, to do that. And the vulnerability that's required is that you have to be secure within yourself, all right? And so one of the things I've learned over the years is that, whenever I'm hanging out with someone, are they more abundant or more scarcity oriented? And if they're scarcity oriented, then those are not people who I keep close to me. I want around me, I want to work with, you know what I mean? That I'm not interested in that because one of the things I understand is that people who are scarcity minded are always keeping score with a small subset. Like they don't know how much there really is. So they tend to, they think it's just 5 or something or 10 or something or 20 of something. And as a result of that, the mindset is always around scrapping or fighting or, competing for when it's not necessary because really there's so much, all right? So I would say the second type of person never to trust is a person that is not abundant-minded, that is scarcity-oriented, that operates in their lack, and that their language usually represents that. That's usually the first sign. But, you'll also see it in terms of, how you might have even heard this before where you'll hear sometimes a language that says something like about dominating or competition. And competition I'm all into, like healthy competition. I compete with me. However, you'll notice that sometimes people who are very scarcity oriented, and I'm not talking about like athletes who are performing at the highest level, because in the truest sense they're very abundant, right? Like they love champions. True champions love champions. Like true giants enjoy being in the company of great giants, right? The true okay, awesome, okay. True giants enjoy the company of giants, but the fact of the matter is, when you're not a giant, and let's say for a lack of a great, better phrase, you are dwarf-minded, then what happens is you tend to have judgment around people who have things that you don't have, right? Or you feel insecure around people who do things, or maybe they speak a certain way, or they have something that you don't have, or you feel like they're taking something from you, or you feel like you need to fight, right? Yes, exactly. You feel like you need to fight and scrap for the things that are abundant anyway, all right? Now, people who are abundant-minded know that there's plenty. And typically, they will invite you in and make room for you, a seat for you at the table. But if you come to a table that's abundant and with a scarcity mindset, that what happens is people who are like that don't want to deal with you because of what you bring to the table, which is scarcity, right? Which is all that low vibration, ugly stuff, right? Like, I'm going to show you, you know what I mean? Or, it's just that small-mindedness that goes along with it. So I just want to break that down. So the second type of person, never to trust, is a person that is, lacks abundant thinking, all right? The third type of person, never to trust. If you guys haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, and Periscope, please do. I'm sharing today the 4 types of people never to trust, all right? The third type of person never to trust is a person that covets. A person that covets, right? They might covet your success, they covet your marriage, they might covet the way you parent, the way you speak, and you know what it looks like. And sometimes it comes off initially as admiration. You know what I'm saying? Like I always say, in order for someone to be a hater of you, they have to be a lover of you first, right? Because how you hate on something you don't know about, really. All right, so a lot of times people who are students of you, okay, to the truest sense, become haters of you, right? Because sometimes your reflection is bright, or maybe your confidence, or maybe your marriage is good, and they covet what you have. And so I always say the third type of person to never trust is a person that covets your success, that doesn't realize for themselves that anything that you have, that God, thank you so much for putting it there, right? Thank you so much, right? That anything you have is available to them, all right? And so someone that is coveting your success is not pulling for you. So this is why you can't trust them. Like people who covet what you have, they aren't pulling for you, all right? They are jealous of you. It's a heavy heart around your rise. And so if ever you are in the company of people who struggle with your rise and what you represent and you being who you are, you can't trust people like that. And, and that's really about you understanding who needs to be around you, who needs to be in your circle, who you need to interact with so you can be stronger. I've seen over the years so many people who didn't get this. I have over the years had to learn this myself. Especially doing coaching, you interact with so many people, and there are lots of people who covet, lots of people who covet what you have. And so sometimes when people covet what you have, what it might look like is, it could be, I call it creative duplication. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what it looks like for them, but they know what it looks like for you. So they just do what you do because, you know what I'm saying? They want to be you. And in the truest sense, nobody can be you. So I don't believe that. But I want to just talk today about what that looks like, so that if you've seen it up close and personal, I know people have said this to me, that I've worked with, that they started doing something or creating something, and and they saw someone do the same thing, and maybe those people kind of went away from them, right? Like it was maybe a close friend or something, and they just all of a sudden left, and you found out they were doing the exact same thing, and folks were devastated and sad and all that. And I always tell them and say, in essence, they did you a favor, because people who covet what you have, they're not happy for you, they're not for you, and they're not meant to be up close and personal with you. It's really important. And so there's nothing you've lost. In fact, you gained everything, because you cannot be, you can't grow with people who are not growing. And a person that, can't be happy for you is not a person that needs to be in your space. All right, just keeping it really 100%, you guys know as I do, right? So today I promise to share with you 4 types of people never to trust. What was number 1? I can't remember. I don't have any notes, right? So the first was, a person who believes that their best days were behind them, all right? The first is a person that believes that, their best days, right, have already passed. You're not going to get any better than this, okay? So those people are going to really struggle with being happy for any growth you're having in the future, right, because of what it represents, because they believe the best days were when you were just little, or they believe the best days are behind them, all right? They have nothing to look forward to, all right? The second is people who are scarcity minded. All right, they think that it's just a little bit of clients, a little bit of people, you know what I mean? Not that many guys out here, whatever it is, right? They believe that whatever there is only this small subset. And usually that comes from a place of maybe even their own world, like that their world has been so small for so long that they don't even know that there's a big juicy world out here. Lots of people, lots of clients, you know what I mean? Lots of opportunities. Because there are, okay? But that knowing is informed by your heart. And if your heart has had a lot of hurt because you've had a lot of losses, a lot of times people like that operate from a place of scarcity. You can't trust people who believe that there's just a little thing, because they'll screw you, right? Like they will, right? Because they think it's only 5 things. It's like, it could be millions, right? Millions of things out there. They think it's just 5. And so they have no allegiance with that because they think it's just 5, and that's how they operate. And then the third, which is what I just mentioned, I can't remember it right now. What was the third one? You guys remember the third one? What was the third thing? All right. Okay. All right. Scarcity minded. Oh, and the third is, thank you for putting that there. People who covet your success. Like, man, they look at your husband and are like, man, he's a good guy, you know what I mean? They want to hang out with you because you got the husband thing going on, and they don't have it going on, and they wish they had it, but they're not really happy for you. They just want what you have. And sometimes they get too close and they get too twisted, and their value set, is off, it's skewed, right? Because they covet what you have. And I just want to, I wanted to break that down. And then the fourth type of person, never to trust. So number 1, I'm trying to remember again. Number 1, a person that believes that their best days are behind them. Number 2 is the person that feels, right, that life is scarce. And number 3 are the people who covet you, right? They covet your success and your growth and your, you know what I mean? They can't be happy for you in the truest sense. And the fourth type of person that you can never trust, are people who are double-minded. Yeah, double-minded in all their ways. And I always say, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And so I've learned over the years that when people are double-minded, when you're dealing with double-minded folks, right? They say one thing, they do another thing. I love you, but what they did was not loving. I respect you, what they did was not respectful. You know what I'm saying? I believe in you, what they didn't show up for you. Okay, double-minded, okay? They're people you cannot trust, all right? And I've learned that over the years. I think often we ignore it. Mercy J, I'm breaking it all the way down. We often ignore the signs of what it looks like, the incongruency of what's being said, right? That means that somebody's saying one thing, but they're doing another thing, right? If it's family, it's the same thing, right? So you just have to set up systems to put them at a distance, because when you're dealing with people who are like that, saying one thing and doing another thing, you cannot trust them. All right. And it's just the reality of what it looks like. And, I've always said that if there's something or someone in my life, right, if someone in my life and I'm not liking what I see, then it's up to me to change it. Like, it's up to me to set the boundaries in that relationship. It's up to me to change the access of, how I allow that person to be a part of my world. Mercy, I've broken it all the way down. The 4 types of people never to trust. Number 1, never trust someone whose best days are behind them. Like their best days, they believe, are behind them. Number 2, never trust someone that is scarcity minded. That they don't believe that there's enough for everybody. They think there's like 2 things. All right. So they're always in their mindset of competing with you, scrapping, you know what I mean, fighting for something, when in reality there's a lot of things. All right. And usually people like that, their heart comes from a scarce place. Like their hurts have been around not having. So as they've interacted with people in their world or opportunities in their world, they approach things from that perspective. All right. So if your heart is not an abundant heart, it's hard to give. It's hard to share. You know what I mean? It's hard to believe that you actually, it's a struggle for you. It has to be a practice. If that's you, if you're listening to me right now, and you're one of those people that you find it difficult to make a referral or, to operate from an abundant place, then I want you to look at that. The third type of person never to trust is, what was the third? Scarcity. Someone that covets your success. All right. So someone that, you know what I'm saying? They're your admirer, hater, admirers. They covet what you have. So they are for you, but they're not for you. You know what I'm saying? They covet what you have. Like they're watching you shine like a diamond and they're squinting. All right. They are not truly cheering for you. All right. They study you. They admire what you're about, but they covet what you have in their heart. They want it bad. They want, why not me people? You know what I mean? Why her? And you can't trust people like that up close and personal in your space because they are not for you. They're really not. All right. And the fact of the matter, because they're not for you, they're not going to stay with you. All right. They're not. Okay. And the fourth way is that don't trust people who are double-minded in all of their ways. So they say one thing, they do another thing. I love you, the actions are not loving. I care about you, actions don't represent. Like, you're like, you care about me, you did that. You know what I mean? You love me, you said that? You know what I mean? You can't do that, you love me? Right, like double-minded. Don't trust them. And you don't have to figure it out. I think that's where so many people get screwed. You don't have to figure it out. All you have to do is listen to what people say and watch what they do, right? You've heard that. I didn't make that up. I don't know who said that originally, but listen to what they say and watch what they do, and their actions always speak louder than words. And for me, I've just learned over the years that what I deserve and what I don't deserve, and as a result of that, you know what I mean, I just create some distance and space and boundaries around people who I cannot trust. You cannot have people around you cannot trust. All right, you can't have them in your business. You can't have them in your heart. You can't have them in your house. You can't have them in your life. You know what I'm saying. You can't have them around the things that your treasures, your family, your house, your husband. You know what I mean. You can't have them in your business. I mean, so I want you to think about those things as because it's like a disease. All right, and dealing with that. But those are the 4 types of people that never to trust. And it doesn't mean that you can't love them at a distance. Love them distant, all right? But they don't deserve your time, your intimate time and your care, right? Because if you're dealing with people like that, they don't mean you're any good, all right? So I just wanted to, right, I just, wanted to break that all the way down. I hope you guys got value today. You can't be at peace with untrustworthy people intimately around. And I think a lot of times we know it, like it when it has happened, but sometimes we tolerate it, right? Like, we keep showing up and because we are trying to be that nice person or that good person or operating from shoulds and oughts, you know what I mean? Or we're trying to show like, I'm a good person. You are a good person, but you need to avoid people who are not trustworthy. They don't need to be a part of your intimate space. And I don't care what the relationship is. It's called a boundary, all right? And, and I'm pretty good at setting them. and when I see it for what it is, all right? You need to love them at a distance, but keep it moving. But don't have them all close to you. So that's where people get hurt. That's where whenever I hear scenarios of someone that's been disappointed or hurt, it's because they've let people get closer and closer despite what they know and see. And then you feel guilty because of that, right? Absolutely. Yaya, you're going to love the replay on this scope. Now, let me tell you, I'm not going to be able to repeat all of this. It was a really great scope. I want to let you guys know, if there was something that was an aha for you, let me know. How do you get away from people like if your husband and other family members like the person? They can like the person. I have an example of that. Yeah, I have an example of that very thing. I had a family member, very intimate family member, let's just say that, who was really mean, like horrible. And I decided that that what I would do is create a system around getting together with this person, because she wasn't nice to me. And she was nice to other people, but she wasn't nice to me. So as a result of that, I decided that what I would do is I would, whenever we would go and visit out of state, I would, on Fridays, the whole family, we would all go, and my kids and my husband would go over and say hi, and I did not. And then on Saturdays, my husband and the kids would all hang out with the person, and I did not, until we would go to a play and go to dinner together. So I figured if we were watching a play, we weren't talking, that was good. And then at dinner, that was an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that was good. And then Sunday, she would come to the hotel, and we'd have brunch together, and then I'd leave. And that was my system. It went on for years, and it worked really great. And I decided that I had to be honest. I had to take a stand for myself in order to change the scenario. I was not going to be around someone that felt like, you know what I mean, that I wasn't part of the party, I wasn't valuable, and that disrespect was there. And in this case, this was a scenario where, like, number one, the person felt that the best days were behind them, meaning before my husband got married, okay? You know what I'm saying? Before she came along, you know what I mean? We could hang out, right? And so, yeah, I created a system. I limited my time, and it worked really great for me. And I think that for years, I didn't follow the advice that I'm telling you, and it was miserable for me. It was because I was living in the shoulds and the oughts. I was really, at that time, trying to be, right, yeah, oh my goodness, right? So let me fan you, all right, let me fan you. But I have to say that once I took a stand for myself, things changed. But what if the person was allowed to move in without asking me? I would probably, if it were me, I would probably go to therapy for myself, of which I have done, and understand family systems. So the thing is, you can't ask for anyone else to change. What you can do is work on strengthening you and your inner muscle and your inner game, all right? So that you can show up a little differently in terms of how you're responding to what's going on around you. How you know what to ask for, what boundaries you need to set. And that's what I did. I mean, I literally said there were some things I was like, I won't be cooking for that. Not me. No, I actually will no longer, you know what I mean, prepare the table to be insulted, right? It's like personal abuse, right? So that's why I would go to therapy, so I could start working on strengthening myself. But I wouldn't do it like, I'm going to therapy so that I can show you. It's not about that person. It's really about you with you. And then likely find a therapist that understands family systems, and that therapist will be able to break down for you the dynamics, the toxic dynamics likely that are going on within that family, so you can better understand why that happened and why this person said yes to that, why this person said no to that, right? So sometimes when you're dealing with people that have parents and things like that, or like emotional vampires, see, they already grew up with it. So my parents weren't like that. So I didn't grow up with parents that were that toxic like that. You know what I mean? So when I saw it, I was like, what in the world is this? Right? To figure out how to in order to have a better marriage, you got to have a better you. And you can't have a better you in your marriage if you like disgusted. All right? So you got to strengthen you, and that will allow you to have some tools to bring to your marriage, right? And the challenge is, the reason you can't trust people like that is because they really try to tear things down, right? They try to rip from within. I think for me, once I understood the family system, right, like stuff, you know what I mean? Then I was like, oh, that's what that was? Because it was new for me. You know, I was blindsided. I just didn't understand that, right? All right. They want to see your demise, right? You got to strengthen you. All right. And your marriage is not on the table. It's not anything that anybody gets to choose whether or not it works or not on the outside. That's an inner thing. So you got to work on you. So you have tools on how to focus on you and bring some tools to your marriage. And then maybe your husband eventually will be able to pull in also, and be able to pull him in, and you guys can do that work, you know. I would also recommend that if you're not dating, that you guys need to be dating. So it's very difficult to evoke change in your marriage if there's no intimacy, if there's no connection. So you got to date. I'm in the gym. All right. If you're not dating one another, it's very difficult to have your husband see your heart. So make sure, you know, you guys start dating, and don't talk about that on your date. Go talk to your therapist. Strengthen you. Date your husband, build intimacy, and then he'll see your heart more, okay? No, this is not my home gym. I know, listen, I come here Monday through Fridays. My trainer is here. I work out with her Monday through Fridays. I need that accountability to show up for myself. If I was home in my gym right now, I know that I would have done what I just did today. I don't think that would have happened, all right? So, yeah, got it? Okay, yeah, get it in, all right. If you haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, on Periscope. Sue,
yeah.
I'm bringing my A game.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 4 types of people never to trust.
The 4 types to never to trust?
Yeah. So number 1, what was number 1? People who believe that the best days were behind them.
Okay.
Like whatever was great, they didn't get any better than that. That might be like an in-law.
Yeah.
Okay. It was great before you came along, kind of thing. The second type are people who are scarcity minded, who believe that there's just one or two great things, and that they're always in a state of competing with you around something when there's a lot of something. The third are people who covet your success. They're not really ever capable of cheering for you, all right, because they resent you. They covet what you have, all right. And then the fourth are people. What was number 4? Number 4 was people who are double-minded. They say they're for you, but their actions don't line up. So those are the 4. What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I think that's great advice.
See that? So double-minded in all their ways.
Yeah.
So that's it. I talked about you a minute ago.
Well, hopefully good things.
All good things, right, guys? So those are the 4 types of people never to trust. She said, bye. 4 types of people never to trust. And I have to say that served me well. I hope that it supported you guys today. And what was your aha? Yeah, what was your takeaway? What was your aha? I always keep it positive, but this is positive. And I'm positive that you need to know this because it was life-changing for me. It was one of the most empowering things that ever happened to me, was for me to get clear about what I would say yes to, who I would say yes to, and who I would say no to. And it was also empowering for me. What were the first 2? Number 1, so I don't write anything down, so I'm trying to remember this. Number 1 was a person that believes that their best days were behind them. Like, you know what I'm saying? It might be your mother-in-law that feels like we were great until she came along. Like you, the wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? Oh, you serious? Okay, number 2, right? Yeah. Number 2 are people who are scarcity minded. I take away, don't let people control my space. All right, so you got to take away was don't let people control your space. Absolutely. The boundary setting is up to you. Anyone else have an aha before I sign off today? If you haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, on Periscope, please do. All right, please do. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with both life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. Hey, Taronda, I didn't see you there. All right. What? Strengthen me for me. Right. You got to strengthen you for you, right? So a lot of times we go into these things and we start fighting somebody else's game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm abundant minded. I'm not scarcity minded. So why am I going to go fight with somebody about something that it's not even a priority for me? I'm going to strengthen me. I'm going to work on me. All right. And I'm going to play the game I want to play. I'm not going to be playing some game, some low vibration game. You understand what I'm saying? Your takeaway was regret is a strong force to be mindful of in others, right? Yeah, regret is like, yeah, sometimes when people feel like those best days are behind them, they're not really excited about where you're going, All right. Your takeaway was be abundant minded. So much, guys. I just want you to know that. And you know if you're dealing with people who think about abundance because they share openly, there's no contraction. People who are scarcity minded are always afraid of losing the things that they have. All right. So they talk about that. You know what I'm saying? They act like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the come from, right? That's what scarcity is. You believe like it's not a lot. You're afraid because of what you know, like, because you know loss tremendously. You know lack. It was a pain, the pain, you know what I mean? So we're motivated by pleasure and pain. So imagine if you operate from a place of lack because of the pain you've had. You know, most of your life you struggled. Right? So imagine if you struggle most of your life, right? And you know what I'm saying? And you've got like 2 lollipops, you're like, mine. Okay, you know what I mean? Like you're always in that state. And you have to do some work to understand that, you know, if that's you, if you're a scarcity minded person, why that is. But, you know, whereas if you're a person that, you know, you've had what you needed most of your life, you don't look at things like that. You're like, wow, there are lots of lollipops. I mean, sure, we have 2 right here, but we could just go to the store and get some more, you know, because of how you see the world. And I'm using that example about lollipops, but, you know, you can apply it to almost anything in the truest sense. So I just wanted to break that all the way down. So were there any quick questions for me before I sign off? This was a great scope, and I'm glad I had a chance to cover this today. That's what happens when I'm working out with Sue. I'm like, man, I like all these ideas start to come forward. I appreciate you, all right? I appreciate you. Be sure to check out my bio here on Periscope. There is a bit.ly link if you're interested in working with me. Contraction exists in numerous aspects of some people's lives, must be strategically maneuvered around. Absolutely. You know when you're dealing with contraction, when you're like, you ever had somebody tell you something and then they didn't tell you all of it? And you're like, you didn't tell me about you know what I'm saying? You didn't mention you know what I'm saying? Like, how is that possible? Contraction. All right. So you understand what to do if these personalities are in people who work with you. So the thing is, when you work with people, you got to work with them. So, you know, you can't change other people. You can only strengthen you. So one of the things that I've learned over the years is working on my own mindset is critically important. What I say yes to, who I hang around. Like I could be in the same room with you. You could be straight up a hater. But you know what? I'm not even dealing with that. I'm going to build me up so much that, you know what I'm saying, that it just rolls off more. And I think that one of the things that's important to understand is that the things that you hear, okay, and the things that you feel, okay, at a deep level, are the things you believe on some level. So when you can't hear what people are saying to you, you know what I mean? Because you don't believe what they're saying to you, okay? You know what I'm saying? Because you done told yourself a whole different story. It just resonates differently. Your come from, you know what I'm saying, is completely different. If you hear what people are saying to you and see ya, have a nice day. If you hear what people are saying to you and it hurts you, like, you know what I'm saying, over and over again, what they're saying, then you need to work on you, because that means on some level you have given them space inside, you know what I'm saying, up here. All right. But when you start doing the work on yourself, you're like, was she talking to me? You know what I'm saying? It just like rolls down your back. Like you're like, girl, please. You know what I'm saying? You just keep it moving. All right. And it's really true. You know, you learn to block them and their energy. It's like blocking is energy. Like you don't even have to block them. Like imagine that this was a troll, like saying something. I don't have to block you. You know, only people I block are people like that are cursing or something like that. I don't want to see that. But why am I going to spend my time blocking somebody that's being foolish? They're not talking to me. They're talking to them. All right. You know what I'm saying? So imagine for me to block it and block it and block it means I am in agreement with you. All right. Like, no, not that. No, not that. No, not that. No, not that. I'm like, What was your question? Daryl, I didn't see it. What was your question? You need to repost it. Just it's energetic. Just imagine not even seeing it, because you work on your inner game such that you don't have to see it. You know, the only things I like to block are curse words. You know, like if something is vulgar, you know what I mean, like profane, then I'm going to block that. I just don't want to see that. I don't want other people to come back on the replay and see it. But if it's some foolishness, then it really is more about a person making a statement about themselves than you. So you don't have to do that, right? And the same is true with a coworker that's being rude, or somebody that didn't talk to you, or somebody that didn't. They're not for you. You already know it, right? So you don't trust them anyway. So you don't have to, you don't have to respond to that. And I believe that wholeheartedly. So I hope that this scope supports you guys, and that it gives you context around the people you can and cannot trust. All right, last time for questions and to share on Twitter, on Facebook, on Periscope, please do. Please share on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course on Periscope, because we already know that other people want to know the answers, right? You're welcome. If you guys are looking to move your life and business forward, and you want to work with a kickbutt coach, meaning you're looking to make an investment, then visit my link on Periscope. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/strategy with Mia, and that's going to allow you to book a strategy session with me so that I can get some insight into what you've got going on and support you in your next level, right? I'm putting the systems in place to grow your business. How can you protect? Okay, how can you protect your space, or people, or being catty? So I just don't respond to it. I mean, I've had a whole lot of people who have been like that over the years, and I found that when I didn't know my power, then I responded to the powerless stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I responded to powerless stuff. When I understood my power, then I just didn't respond. And eventually, they stopped it. So people kind of are, when you're dealing with low vibration people, they want you to respond. That's their fuel. The fuel is for you to respond. So if you start knowing who you are, right, and know and operate within your power, then you're like, they weren't talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go sit over here and have a nice dinner. You know what I mean? Like, really. Or, that's enough. 2 hours. You guys get 2 hours of my time today. I'm too valuable to be dealing with a whole lot of foolishness, toxicity. I'm not going to operate from shoulds and oughts. Oh no. Like, if this environment doesn't have respect, I'm taking Uber. Like, just taking a stand for yourself. But the thing is, the reason we don't is sometimes because it takes courage to do that. Any recommendations reading to strengthen yourself? There was a really great book that helped me. Here's the book. Her name is, she's a PhD, Cherie Carter, Cherie. And the book was called If Life is a Game, These Are the Rules. And, oh man, there was one of those rules in there in that book. She said something like, others are a reflection of you. And I was dealing with someone that was really toxic, right? And I was like, no, it's not. And then I would read that chapter and I was like, no, it's not. So it is. So what you got to understand is when you're responding to like negative people and toxic people, right? If life is a game, these are the rules by Cherie Carter. She's a PhD, right? So if you're responding to what they're saying, remember, it's got to be based on a belief you have inside your heart. Like, you wouldn't even understand it if it wasn't in you. So I was like, I got to do some work so that this is not me, right? Yeah, that's who it is. I think it's Cherie. It might be with a C. So you guys have to check that out, okay? But because I haven't read it in a couple of years, but it's a great book. But I remember reading that rule, and I was like, so you mean the only reason I can hear what this person is saying about me is because it's in me? What? I got to do some work here. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, I got to do some work. Like, that cannot be, because this is not even cool. And so that's one of the things that I've learned is to work on myself, to know myself so well that if I saw anything like that, or, you know what I'm saying? You're like, y'all not even talking to me. You understand what I mean? I'm going to go sit here and do my thing. And that's pretty much how it is almost always, no matter who I'm dealing with. I mean, I could be dealing with, it could be an intimate relative that's just rude, and then I, had to set a boundary around. It could be dealing with someone that is a highly status person who wants to minimize, you know what I'm saying? You ever deal with people like that? I deal with people like that all the time. And the fact of the matter is, I don't have to put you in your place. You know, I'm just going to do me. You know what I mean? There are just certain things I'm going to respond to and not respond to. All right, but you got to work on yourself. So, and it's just really important. Okay, it could even be those, you know, how you ever have those people that you deal with, right? Yes, something in me is resonating with their mess. If I'm responding, yeah. And once you start to work on yourself, you won't respond. It could even be like, you know, sometimes on these kind of platforms like Periscope, you may even have like people who watch what you do, right? Because live stream is great for them. And then they like, you know what I'm saying? They have opinions about you, all right? Because they do. And, you know, they want to come for you. It's like, please. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Just do you. Like, be who you are. Be all of who you are. Don't allow anyone to try to make you shrink or let them put you in a box or, you know, tell you who you are, have you operating based on their low vibration, their lack of what they believe is possible, their scarcity, or believing, you know, that you don't deserve what you get, what you have. Like, you worked for that. You know what I'm saying? They don't get to say that. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about it. All right, with that, I am done. I think this is the longest gym scope I've ever done. And growth happened right here today. You're welcome. You're welcome. That was my goal. It's a tough topic, but it's an important topic. And I'm glad that it supported you in making that shift. We are worthy no matter what they think is irrelevant. What I think about me ain't got nothing to do with what somebody, it's not from the outside in, right? Golden nuggets. Yes, it was for me too. I'm glad that it was. I'm glad it supported you. You know, sometimes you just got to break the truth all the way down. And I think sometimes it's good to hear it from an objective source too, so that, you know, when you look at it in these different ways, you're like, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? My husband laughs all the time. I'm like, I got a system for it. I'm not going to spend my time with people I already know aren't pulling for me. You know what I'm saying? Or double-minded, or their best days are behind them, or they're scarcity-minded. Are you kidding? You want to get stabbed in the back? Deal with somebody that's scarce-minded. Trust me, it's not if. It's not, wonder if they will. They will. Okay, wisdom speaks, all right? I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with both life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. If this scope spoke to you, I'd love to hear your comments on Facebook at Mia Redrick, the mom strategist. That's my page there. Mia Redrick, the mom strategist. Mia Redrick, the mom strategist on Facebook. I would love to get a review from you. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great and amazing day. I love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.